Welcome once again to the Polity coming to you live from the Abuja studio of Kaftan Television. My name is Dayo Omogo. I'm very excited to be here. I say that all the time and it's true. And I tell you also that because I'm excited here, you can be affected with the excitement also. And I hope that that's allowable by you. It doesn't matter how bad your day has been. As you join this program, I know that you will have some enlightenment, some education, some information, and probably along the line some humor and to spice your day. So I have every assurance that at the end of this program, we will not leave you the way we met you. Your spirit will be lifted up. And from this point on, your day will be better. I desire it. It's my joy, and I'm looking forward to you giving me that testimony. All right, so today again, we take a look at a trending topic and something that is useful, is beneficial to all of us. I'm sure that you agree that the cyber space today is beneficial to all of us. Whether or not you are tech savvy, one way or the other, you use tech services. I'm sure about it. You have a bank account. They send you mails. You have WhatsApp messages. All that. You have some IG account. You have all that and all that. So, how can we be safe on that space, on those spaces? All of that together, I believe, is what's called the cyberspace. And I have a guest with me. His name is Peter Ode, and he's a cyber security expert and is a member of the National Committee for the Awareness Month. I don't know whether I got that right.
Yeah.
All right. So you're welcome, Peter.
Thank you very much.
Right. So Peter will be doing this with me so that all of us can have a better understanding of what it is that's expected of us on the cyber streets. Yeah, on the cyberspace or on the cyber streets.
Yeah.
So I'll start by saying welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank
you. I like us to get into it this way by you leading us into what exactly is cyber security. What exactly is it when you talk about cybersecurity?
Okay, thank you very much, Dayo. My name is Peter Ode, just like you have said. I'm a subject matter expert on cybersecurity and also a member of the Committee on Cybersecurity Awareness for the Cybersecurity Expert Association of Nigeria. Yeah. So the cybersecurity we all have been hearing about is actually a term that you cannot really define if you don't understand what the cyberspace is. So whenever we want to look at cybersecurity, you first of all consider the cyberspace, and then before you bring in the security aspect of it, right? So now, what is the cyberspace? That is the first thing. The understanding of the word, the cyberspace, is always the first thing to think of when you're talking about cybersecurity, right? So there is yet no agreeable definition for that word, cyberspace, because several schools of thought have them as different things, right? But we look at it from different perspectives as that space where all forms of interconnectivity with our digital devices occur, right? So, and we don't just look at that space as a thing or a place, actually. And just like you say, a street. So it's, being a street is just part of it. So we look at it as a domain of life, right? A domain where life exists. Just like we have, even though it's not physical.
It's virtual.
Yeah, virtual, physical, and all whatnot. So put together. So we look at it from this perspective. Initially, we used to have 3 domains of life: the land, the water bodies, and then the air, right? So we have those 3 domains of life. Then later, as technology evolved, we now have the space, right? So that was the 4th domain of life. Today, we have the cyberspace as the 5th domain of life. So imagine the land, for instance. all the activities that happen on land, right? All the activities that happen on the sea, all the activities that happens on the air, all the activities that happens on the space, right? That is how we also have several activities happening on this cyberspace. So it's not just like a thing or something you can actually say, this is it, right? So it's a world of its own. And that is the world we are living in today, right? So if we say, okay, we are looking at the domain land, for instance, we have people living on land, we have things happening on land, and likewise, we have to bring in security to protect lives and properties on land, right? So also considering the cyberspace, that is how we have several things happening there, people living there, technology happening there. You see AI today, you see IoT, you see OT, IT, you see different types of technology coming up. All of these are things that operates on that space known as the cyberspace. So the cybersecurity now will be any protective measures you are bringing in place, whether it has to do with technology, whether it has to do with laws, whether it has to do with policies that you're bringing in place to safeguard this cyberspace. So anything you think you want to do to protect and safeguard this cyberspace, all the countermeasures, all these types of controls you can put in place to protect this cyberspace is what we refer to as cyber security.
All right.
Yeah.
So like you have fences around houses?
Yes,
you have,
exactly.
Security personnel?
Personnel, guards, you have your cameras, your CCTV cameras, and all of that, right? So we look at them and say, okay, this is security.
Yes.
So now when we look at the cyberspace, it's actually a space that also cuts through all of the domains of life. So in the water body, there's a cyberspace there because there are technological equipment used in the water bodies. On land, there's a cyberspace there. On air, there's a cyberspace there. Also on space, there's a cyberspace there. So if you look at, collectively, cybersecurity now cuts across all of these domains of life, including that of the cyberspace, right? So when we look at it, and you say you want to look at cybersecurity as it is, we now dissect it into several aspects. So the physical security aspect is there. The network security aspect is there. The computer security aspect is there. Then there are other aspects, like we call them emission security, although that is not really found around here. But when you see things like jams, when a network is being jammed and all of that, so we call them emission security. I think that's just the basic way to talk about that. So we have that type of security, and then we have information security, which is like a word that people have always mixed it to say, okay, it is actually the bigger brother of cybersecurity, but we don't see it that way, because information security do even before the cyberspace, right? But what the line between them is we borrowing several techniques from information security and then bringing it into the cyberspace. So we have the aspect of information security, like we see your data security today. We have the aspect of the physical security, where you have all of your CCTV cameras, your firewalls, your fences, your security guards, your access control logs, and all whatnot, right? Physical security, things you can see to protect the things that enable the cyberspace, right? Then we also have the emission security, like I said, is not quite used around here, but just imagine you having having something that jams network, right? So you see, a jammer is a type of an emission security gadget, right? Then we also have and the computer security, how you protect or how you should protect your computer systems, your phones, and all of that. So there are different aspects to it, and all of them collectively is what we can say, okay, these are the aspects of cybersecurity. Yeah.
Now, so this month has been set aside as a special month to create awareness.
Yeah.
What's the essence of this?
Okay, the essence is to help Nigerians know what the challenge, all the challenges they face using the internet, actually. So we target online safety for this month. We target online safety, and what we do. Yeah, that's the theme. Yes, for this year's online safety. Okay. So we sensitize people on how to protect themselves online, especially if you're making use of the internet. You should be able to know the things to do while you're on the internet. Now, the internet is not the cyberspace. Okay. The internet is actually an aspect of the cyberspace. Okay. But we have noticed that most types of crimes that happen are based on the internet, like our social media. You see cyberbullying happening there. You see cyber stalking happening there. All forms of pornographic materials being shared over the internet today. So that is why we have tagged it online safety, so that we can sensitize to people and then make them understand the need to be safe while they are using the internet.
All right, let's go into some of the things that you have mentioned. Okay. You just talked about cyberbullying.
Yes.
Millions of people, that's big grammar.
Okay.
You talk about cyberbullying, cyber stalking.
Yeah.
And I know that there is something called phishing.
Yes.
PHISH.
Yes, phishing, yeah.
And maybe several others, malware.
Okay.
We'll need a little, it may not be that detailed.
Yeah.
At least I'm sure that my audience would like to know what these mean.
Okay.
And how they can avert whatever destructive
they are. Okay. So we'll look at all of these that we have mentioned: cyber stalking, espionage, cyberbullying, malware, phishing mails, and all of that. We'll look at them and call them threats. Yeah, threats. And I also want to make it to be both threats and attacks, right? Okay. So we use them synonymously. Okay. Now, when we look at cybersecurity holistically, first thing we always consider are the things we refer to as our assets. So as individuals, as people, we are also an asset to the cyberspace, right? And the fact that we are an asset to the cyberspace, it means we are always vulnerable to several things. We have our weaknesses. Also vulnerability, we are looking at weaknesses in a system, in a person. And some of these weaknesses for people are weaknesses like fear, weaknesses like being depressed, being anxious over things. Those are several weaknesses that as human beings, we have inherent in us, for instance. So, and we as assets, whatever happens to us that has to do with the cyberspace and can lead or can take advantage of these vulnerabilities, we see them as either threats or attacks. So a threat is anything that has the potential to cause harm. Okay. For instance, anything that has the potential to cause harm, we look at them and say threat. While attacks, we can look at attacks and say the action of causing the harm itself, the actual action of the harm is an attack. And that's why I say, okay, we'll use them side by side. So when we say cyber stalking, when we say cyber bullying, when we say phishing, when we say what's the other word you mentioned? Okay, phishing and malware. Okay, so we can look at this and say, okay, at one point it is a threat, at another point it is an attack, right? Because an attack is the action of a threat carrying out an actual attack, right? So an actual harm.
The threat is when it's in conception.
Yes, exactly. Yes,
plotted.
Exactly. So it has that.
When it is actually deployed.
Yes.
It's actually
carried out, it becomes an attack. Okay. So now, cyberbullying, cyber stalking are terms we use to define things like when you use the internet or when you use your digital devices to cause problems over the internet. Maybe sending false information about somebody, just to maybe make the person feel bad, embarrassment to the person. You are sharing something that is supposed to be private to the person. You are sharing them over the internet. You're actually trying to threaten somebody over the internet.
I'm going to stop you briefly.
Okay.
Don't lose the train of your thoughts, please, because we need to go on a break quickly.
Okay.
We'll be right back.
Okay.
After this break.
Thank you very much.
Welcome back. You are still on to the polity, and is coming to you from the Abuja studio of Captain Television. We've been talking about the cyberspace, the cyber security, considering that this month is the International Cybersecurity Awareness Month. So we're talking, the whole essence is to let you into what cybersecurity is, cyberspace, and how to conduct yourself, how people ought to conduct themselves, what you need to avoid, how you need to protect yourself from attacks or threats. We just heard about the distinction between threats and attacks. Yeah, so I think you can take it from there.
Yes. So we're looking at cyberbullying and cyber stalking. We're talking about
cyberbullying.
Yeah. So when you use
something that's supposed to be private, for example, when you put somebody's nude
online using electronic means or electronic device, maybe just to make the person feel bad and all of that, or demanding money and all of that, we call that cyberbullying and cyber stalking. So cyber stalking is maybe you try to monitor the person online to see his activities and then know when to strike and all of that, right? So we look at them and we say, okay, cyber stalking, you're stalking the person
just the way you stalk someone just physically.
Exactly.
Right.
And then the bullying is you decide to share things about the person that are not supposed to be meant for everybody, or you decide to abuse the person online, or you say all kinds of clumsy things about the person, using your electronic device or doing them on your social media and all of that.
Right.
So we say, okay, you're doing cyberbullying because you're trying to make the person feel bad, or trying to make the person to be anxious or feel ashamed of themselves. And all of these things can actually lead to something. It can have a repercussion on that person.
Yeah, it can lead to
depression, sometimes lead to death and all of that. People committing suicide and all of that. So we look at that and we say, okay, you're doing cyberbullying, right? So, and all of these are things that even in Nigeria there are legislations that have been developed.
Exactly. So we'll very shortly go to those legislations
to see that. Then when we talk of phishing and malware, phishing is a technique that is used by most threat attackers now, all the bad guys. Phishing is a technique they use most times in sending us links, malicious links to click on. So at times you see a message on your email, somebody telling you, oh, I'm from your bank, is this message from your bank, you're supposed to do so and so, please click on this to update this type of information, right? So that is a phishing link that person has sent to you, right?
So it's not designed to deliver what is sold to you.
No, it's not designed.
It's designed for some other,
for an action to be taken by you. So the moment
you take that
action is taken, then you become a victim.
Wow.
Right. So at times
it's like prompting you to fall into a trap.
To a trap. Yeah, that is phishing. So just typical phishing. When we go to fish, the lining and the bait, there's a bait.
Yes.
So there's always something for the attacker to be baiting you. But the moment you fall for it, it picks you out. Right. So that is what they do, and it comes in different forms. It comes in the form when there's voice that's attached to it. We call it vision. So somebody calling you, I am calling you from your bank, I am Mr. A, Mr. B, you did so and so in the banking hall, and I want you to give me so and so information. So that is referred to as vision with the V.
V.
Yeah, vision.
V-H.
V-I.
V-I.
Yes, vision. Voice, ishing. Like V for voice, and then ishing, right? The I-S-H-I-N-G, right? So vision. So we also have smishing when it comes through SMSs. Right? So when it's an SMS that is sent to you, you remove the S and N, that's smishing. Right? So why phishing is the general term used for them. But most times it comes especially through our email. At times it can come through our WhatsApp groups, people telling you to click on this so that you can get so and so funds from the government and all of that. So these are several techniques they use to make you become a victim. You actually become a member of their botnet. So botnet is like a robot network, whereby you are now in somebody's network. He has control over that device.
You're kind of in captivity. You are subject to that control.
He's just waiting on the day for the day he wants to pick up an attack. Then he goes ahead and strikes. So that is what phishing, smishing, vishing, puts us in. Right. So then malware stands for malicious software. So just like we know, there are several softwares that have been developed, but when they are malicious, they have a bad intention of maybe making you do things you're not supposed to do, or maybe try to make push advertisements to you, forceful adverts on things. All of those things we refer to them as malware. So they come in different forms. They come in the form of spyware, in the form of hardware, in several forms. Ransomware, whereby somebody takes hold of your device or your system and requests that you must pay this particular amount of money before it is being released. So that is ransomware.
Like a phone?
Like a phone.
Yeah.
Sometimes they can even encrypt your data. Right?
Okay.
They can take hold of your data. They can take hold of your device. You will not be able to do anything with it.
Oh,
yes.
Really?
Yes, yes.
Your phone is still with you?
Yes.
But you can't do anything with it?
You can't do anything with it. So they might even affect or infect the operating system of your phone that you cannot do. You don't know your phone is hiding or something like that, right? At times, most times when we see them on databases especially, whereby people take hold of your data in the database and then demand that you pay ransom before they can. So it's literally kidnapping in the digital space, in the cyberspace. So it's synonymous to that, right? Hardware, you just stay and you see unwanted ads popping up and all of that on your device.
That's quite common.
Yeah, that's quite common. That's hardware, right? They also have spywares. Those ones are more technical. They are more persistent, kind of. They'll just hide, stay in the device, and then monitor your activities, right? And then report to what we call a command and control center. So an attacker has a command and control center. Whenever he pushes out all of this,
whenever he pushes out his soldiers,
he's actually waiting for a feedback. So the feedback comes to him, so he knows how many he has, and in that command and control center, that's where he can push or deploy whatever exploits that he wants to deploy through that command and control center.
Wow,
right.
This is a whole lot.
Yeah,
this is a whole lot. You mentioned espionage.
Yeah, espionage is when somebody infiltrates your system and then is fetching data, just like somebody spying on you, right? It's fetching data, is reporting all the activities you're actually carrying out within your system. So that is espionage. Just like you send a spy, physically send a spy to spy on somebody and then report back to you. So that is synonymous to espionage in the cyberspace.
Okay, so espionage, spyware do about the same thing?
Yeah, do about the same thing, yeah.
All right. Now, to the untrained, people like us who don't understand the language of the spirits. Now, how do you detect that something is wrong somewhere? That my phone, even if I don't know what exactly is the problem, I think someone is playing with my phone. So it's playing with my device. It's playing with my my system.
Yeah. Okay, so with that, I will respond to that in two ways. Most times when we look at it, we don't just look at detection.
Okay.
Yeah, and prevention. We don't just look at that. We look at proactive measures to be taken first.
Okay. To prevent
this from happening.
Fantastic. Yes.
Yeah, before we get to you try to detect, and that is after proactive.
Yes, that means that's reactive.
Yeah, reactive. We have it proactive, active, and reactive.
Okay.
So while it is happening, it's actively.
Oh, yes.
So while it has happened, you are reacting to it. Right? Why it's proactive is because you are doing it before it happens.
Yeah, you're taking steps to
control it before it happens. Right, okay. So proactively, we look at you having, or we call them, you having as a person, you should have good cyber hygienes. Right?
All right, hygiene.
Yeah, good cyber hygiene. Just like we have our basic habits of waking up in the morning, brushing your mouth, having your bath, and all of that. So that is how we also have these hygienes.
So you can be dirty digitally.
Yes, of course, you can be dirty digitally. That's right.
Tell us.
So some of these hygienes are like, you must maintain a good and strong password in all your devices, in all that you do, in as far as it has to do with the digital space, with the cyberspace. You must be able to maintain a good password. So a good password must be up to at least 12 characters long.
12?
Yeah, 12 characters long. And
the challenge is that you could forget.
Yes, of course. And that is why we also train you to have things like passphrases. I go to church on Sunday. Then we teach you how to toggle it, right? So that you have something that people will not really know you are actually writing, I go to church on Sunday.
Okay, you toggle it. You
toggle it. Yeah, right.
I'd prefer for people like me and many others.
Yeah.
So you like scramble it.
You scramble it. Yeah. So like letter A, we can use the @ sign to represent letter A, right?
Yeah.
You can use the number 1 or the exclamation sign to represent the letter I, right? You can use the number 3 to represent the letter E, right? So by the time you have I go to church on Sunday, and you see you're using maybe theta to represent 0, for instance. So by the time you see that you're writing this I'm using an exclamation sign, right? Go, G, and then I use a theta sign for my O, right?
Okay.
Then 2, I bring in maybe another theta sign, and then double theta sign, maybe T for theta sign, and then O for another theta sign, right?
Yeah.
So by the time I finish this, you notice that I will now have a strong password that will contain, because the password must contain alphabets, right? Special characters and numbers, right? So together with the lowercase alphabets,
and
right?
uppercase.
So we must have both lower and uppercase alphabet.
Right.
So, and also it should be at least 12 character long. So by the time you do this, any password cracking machine that is doing what we call brute forcing on your password, it takes a very long time
for it to
be able to succeed, right? So that is why we advise that initially we used to advise that at least 8 character long, but today, since the inception of AI and different technologies that have come in,
because like Chino Achebe would say in Things Fall Apart, since the Eneke bird has learned to fly without perching, the hunter has also learned to shoot without missing.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So you have to do it that way so that you maintain a good password. That is just one of the basic and major hygienes that you must do in as much as you're using the cyberspace. Another hygiene is you must enable what we call the MFA, the multi-factor authentication on all your digital devices and on all your accounts. Now, MFA is a technique that all forms of devices and social media we use today have them embedded in it. So you have to go there, turn it on, most times on the settings of whatever social media you're using. MFA stands for multi-factor authentication. You can see them some places that say 2FA. That's two-factor authentication, right? So two-factor authentication is just an aspect of your MFA, right? So MFA is multi. So
so there it can suggest more than two.
More than two, right? So what we do in authentication mostly, we call them what you know, what you have, and who you are. Those are 3 ways we use in authenticating people into a system, right? What you know, who you are, and what you have, right? So if I send you a one-time password and OTP, and then you know what an OTP is. So if a one-time password is sent to maybe your device or your email, it means you're making use of what you have, right? So when you're using your biometrics, maybe your fingerprint, your eyelids, and all of that, we say you're using what you are, who you are, right? And what you know is your password, your passphrases, and all of that. So what you know. So even if the hacker is able to decipher what you know, before it can get to what you have, you might already know, right? So that is why we advise that you do a multi-factor. You use either the 2 or the 3 of them for authentication purposes. So if you have not turned that on your devices, you have to learn how to do that, right? Multi-factor authentication is another hygiene. Then the third hygiene is that you must only click on links that you know.
Well, I think there's a problem with that. Because you cannot always know the links that will come to you. Some of them very useful, very beneficial, profitable to your life, to your business. But because of this fear, what you've just said, if you leave things unclicked, the opportunities out there will get untapped.
Now we have this saying that whatever you're not certain about, spit it out.
Spit it out.
Whatever you're not certain about, spit it out. So that is one of the things we have when we talk cybersecurity. Right. So if there's a link,
if you are afraid that what I'm about to swallow might be poisonous,
just kick it out. Just forget it. Just kick it out. It's best you lose that opportunity than lose your privacy. Right, so it's better.
Honestly, I lost a whole lot on my WhatsApp this year, and I even every single time I remember it, it makes me want to cry. There's too much that went with it. and I can't still put my finger. Unfortunately, I didn't understand when he said whether a security word, that if you can encode your security word, then it will be whatever, you will not lose your.
Yeah.
I kept thinking there was something else. I remembered the 6 digits.
Okay.
I remembered clearly, but I kept thinking, like, at the point at which we installed the WhatsApp, like there was something else. It was my son who said, "Why didn't you try the 6-digit thing?"
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I think that's a multi-factor authentication.
Yes. Yeah. So I lost a whole lot, and you know, I'm sure that there are millions of Nigerians who probably are like me, who are falling one way or the other. Have you experienced that before, in spite of your knowledge?
Well, coming into cybersecurity has been something that I have been practicing even before I grew up to even learn, go and study cybersecurity.
So you've not been a victim before?
No.
Fantastic.
I've not been a victim before, yeah.
They'll be very... No, I'm saying they probably have tried several times.
Of course.
And they'll be like, which kind of coconut?
Of course.
Which kind of stone be this?
Of course.
All right, so we will be going shortly into... because of time, we'll be going shortly into the legislations that the National Assembly just recently put out, and how that affects us as people, and how not to fall into the such problems. Now, just before he starts doing that, I'd like you to know that the line is open, and you can quickly send your question. I mean, or if you have a perspective you'd like to share, or an experience you'd like to share. We have a few more minutes within which this can be done. So 08029933665 is the number. If that's too fast, I'll slow it down. It's 08029938365. I'm sure you got that now. And like I say all the time, let's observe the ground rules. When you call, ensure that your TV set, the volume is low or reasonable, not too high. And ensure that you're not too close to the television set. And also, as much as possible, put down your ideas so that you don't have to ramble. You can flow right through, because this is your one chance, maybe for so long, that you're going to be on air, and you want to make the most of it. The world is watching, the world is listening, so you want to give your very best. It's good for you, it's good for us, it's good for everybody. Yeah, rather than have to ramble and take so much time, there's no time. So 08029938665, let's get you on the line. Yes. Okay, let's go.
So talking about legislations, I think from the part of the government, they have been doing a lot. Most times when we look at all of this, we don't just look at what the government should do, what organizations should do, and what you as a person should also do. Right? So the government have, to an extent, done enough, right? Because I think we have the Nigerian Data Protection Act that was signed into becoming an act from the NDPRO. It was an offshoot of the NDPRO that was signed by Mr. President June 12, 2023. It became an act, so it established a commission, a Data Protection Commission, known as the Nigerian Data Protection Commission, headed by Dr. Vincent Olatunji. Right? So that commission, what their mandate is to help safeguard the data of Nigerian citizens. Right, because we notice that our data are always being mismanaged, and most times sold online, sold over the dark webs and all of that. So the Nigerian government have seen it and discovered and know that, okay, it will be good for us to have a commission. So there is that commission that also has mandated every organization that processes the data of Nigerian citizens. In as much as the organization process the data of Nigerian citizens, you must be compliant to that act. You must do this in compliance to the act. So the act stipulates several principles on how to process Nigeria's data, and also some exemptions why you should process this data.
No. Just before we go forward, what will you give us examples of bodies or institutions, organizations that process data? We're talking about.
When we talk of organizations that process data, we actually look at them as data controllers and data processors.
All right.
So organizations almost all the organizations, all the agencies, the ministries and departments in Nigeria process data of Nigerian citizens. Facebook, for instance, process data of Nigerian citizens, right? So every organization that process data of Nigerian citizens, in as much as you can have the name, phone contact and all of that of Nigerian citizens, you process MCN, banks and all of that. So they have
employers. Does that include employers?
Not the employers. The employers are the ones that act based on the instructions of the bank. So the employers, we can look at them and say, okay, they are processors. Because they are acting on the instructions of the controller, which is the bank now. So, yeah, if you process this data, you must be compliant with the NDPC. Now, the NDPC stipulated that, okay, before you process, you must seek consent, you must maybe do this based on contract, based on maybe vital interest and the likes, right? So these are what we refer to as the principles of processing data of Nigerian citizens, and it has also given you as a Nigerian citizen the right to data ownership. So we call you a data subject. So as it is, as a data subject, you own your data. So if you are a Nigerian citizen, you should know that you own your data, and you should be able to ask questions whenever your data is being used anywhere. Ask questions. Now, another very important legislation is the Cybercrime Act, Cybercrime Prohibition and Prevention Act of 2015 that was also amended. I think that was the last when it comes to things around the cyberspace. It was amended last year, 2024, and that act stipulates that it actually covers things around, cyber crimes, all forms of crimes that happens over the cyberspace,
like what we were talking about before,
cyberbullying, cyber stalking, right? So, and the act is saying that, okay, for you, I think Section 24 of that act, it's what covers cyber stalking and bullying, right? Section 24 of the Cybercrime Prevention and Prohibition Act, right? And you notice that, okay, depending on the gravity of the offense, you can bag, I think, a 15 million naira fine.
15 million?
15 million naira fine.
Oh, okay, only. You forgot to add only.
No, not only, because there's actually an attachment to it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You get that, or I think a 3-year
no, there's still only 15 million naira only.
And since you're looking at money here. So 15 million naira only. Then with the 3-year altogether.
Wow.
Yeah.
And all.
Yeah, and
that is, it could be both?
It could be both. It could be any.
Wow.
Yeah. Depending on the gravity. So the gravity has to do with something like maybe
somebody's
the person is afraid that he will be kidnapped and all of that. Then you know that, okay, you're looking at I think 25 million or 10 years jail term.
25 million naira?
25 million naira fine.
I'm sure that many people are not aware of this. If you see the kind of thing that goes on social media.
They are not aware, and that is why you see them.
And ignorance is not an excuse.
It's not an excuse in front of the law, actually. So I think every Nigerian should look at that act, Section 24 of that act, and then digest it well, because most times we just go online and you post things online, you share things over your WhatsApp, you post things over your Twitter pages and all of that, and all of these things that defame people or make them feel depressed or anxious on things, or become afraid of going out and all of those things, they can take you to court.
All right. Let me quickly ask, because we're running out of time. Seriously. There's an aspect that I'm very interested in.
Okay.
I find the situation, people are very lazy and they want to also claim to be authors, for example, on social media.
Yeah.
So you work with your brain, you birth something, you post something online, and you find it everywhere.
Yeah.
And they're not giving credit.
Yeah.
Nobody's giving you credit.
Yeah.
And I think that's a very serious matter. It's like plagiarism. It's copyright violation.
Yes.
Is there anything in that legislation that tackles that?
Well, for now, the legislation does not cover that, and that is why we are also pushing for a more robust legislation. Because if you look at like I said, Cybercrime Prevention and Prohibition Act. We have not yet looked at a holistic act to cover the entire activities of the cyberspace.
Right.
And like we said, the internet is just an aspect of the cyberspace. There are several things that have been moved into the cyberspace, and that is why we are strong advocate of a holistic legal framework that should look at all of these things and how people should interact with them over the internet.
We're going to have to draw the curtains right now. Okay. Peter Ode, thank you so very much. This is it's a whole lot of knowledge, and I do believe that my audience is richly blessed today. I am richly blessed, and I want to say thank you for coming. And maybe going forward, we'll have you fairly more regularly. We don't have to wait for the awareness month.
Of course.
Because we use the internet and we use the cyberspace on a daily basis. And so let's know what's right and what's wrong.
Of course.
And how to also save ourselves from such threats and attacks.
Okay.
Thank you so much for coming. We will go on a break right now, and when we get back, I do hope that we can go into the second segment with my other guest. Thank you very much, Peter.
Thank you very much.
Right.
Yeah.
Welcome back once again to the polity. This is the concluding leg, like I say, the home run. This time I have a legal practitioner with me. His name is Barrister Kasmer Igwe. Is the lead attorney at Igwe and Igwe Attorneys, based in Abuja here. He's a very successful legal practitioner and prolific, articulate analyst, public affairs analyst. He was here just about a week ago when this particular topic we're going to look at, when he first broke. He was one of the lawyers who I brought in, and he's here again so we can talk more on it because of the new development. And I'm talking about the presidential pardon list that was unveiled or revealed about a week or so ago, about 2 weeks ago. And they came in and we talked at length. And now just yesterday, it looked as if the president listened to us because is that not correct? Barrister Kasmer, you're welcome.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So how did you receive the news yesterday, having gone through all that talk that day, and it looked as if we had reached a dead end, and it looked as if nothing could be done, but here it is, yesterday something broke?
Well, for me, it came to me. I am really surprised. Okay, it really showed that maybe we have a listening president or leadership. Okay, following the outcry, the outbursts, the agitations, and the outrage that followed that initial list has put out, being recommended for presidential pardon and clemency. For the government to backtrack, listen to people, and then call for a review. It really, for me, shows that indeed, law is meant for man, not man for law.
Correct.
So I'm glad that came up, because despite the fact that it's 100% at the discretion of Mr. President to so do, and as I pointed out earlier, that he excised his constitutional powers.
Right.
Okay. So, and as the name suggests, that this is prerogative of mercy, and the only person that can be convicted is a criminal. So looking at all of those things, I concluded and posited that President was correct constitutionally, in law, and all around. But we only had issues on the moral aspect of it.
Okay.
The consequences or the impact it would have had if it was allowed that way.
Yeah.
But for what transpired, I must commend Mr. President and his team. Why do I say so? For some reasons, they would have just said, okay,
the outcry has been out there, it has died down.
Yes.
Therefore, let's just pass by and wait for the next time if there'll be a next one. But for them to sit back, it means that one, they're listening to us. Two, there was a serious oversight. You know, we are saying either that they were not properly briefed, or the way manner the entire thing was handled,
or there could have been some compromise.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And this recent action has given credence to our position. Why do I say so? For Mr. President to decide to even review the processes and procedure of this grant of amnesty or the exercise of his powers on prerogative of mercy shows that they've also noticed that there are some things that were not properly done. One of it is moving the secretariat from Ministry of Special Duties to Justice, which actually is where it belongs.
Proper
this is the
where it should be
domiciled properly, well situated now, you know, because I told you I cannot be heading a committee that is being organized or moderated or, you know, that has another ministry as a, you know, as a clearing house.
So clearly it means that that probably contributed to the fast result.
Exactly. You know, so when you allow something to some form of use or improper arrangements, these are the things that happen. But mind you, I'm sure that this was how they inherited it. That's how it's used to, because you know, special duties handle both merit and honors. So they also felt that this should come part of it. But no, this is 100% a legal exercise that has their consequences and implications on our criminal justice system. You know, on
security,
national security, and otherwise, even the perception of government.
Exactly.
Okay. So it's good that this has happened. Take note that every process here has to do with security and law enforcement agencies. So why should something as serious of grant of amnesty or pardon
be handled
by a non-legal organization or ministry? I mean, there may be room for abuse or so that's what I think. I commend Mr. President and his team.
All right. Yeah. So commendation. I mean, this is what it should be. Where there is wrong, the complaints come, the knocks come, the bashing comes, and when good has been done, we should recommendations also.
Exactly. We should be able to, you know,
and it's a fantastic thing, no doubt, that Mr. President could reverse himself. It's a hallmark of good leadership.
Exactly.
Yeah. So having said that, I think that there's a part that I think that Nigerians are still waiting for. I've had conversations with people between yesterday and today and all that, even on air, and there are people who are saying this will not be complete if some people do not get some punishment. If people who were responsible for that national disgrace, if people are not dealt with, then it sets a precedence. It means that even in spite of it being moved, the secretariat being moved out of Ministry of Special Duties to Ministry of Justice, the same thing, it's human beings, it's Nigerians that are also in that ministry, and if they feel that they can get away with it, they are likely going to try. So why don't we set a precedent of what do you call this thing now, to ensure that those things do not persist,
to deter people from
deterrence. Exactly.
Well, I may not see it from that perspective.
Okay.
Yeah, reason is that except you are alluding that some people committed some of infraction.
No. What I thought, because I know how you want to see, how you think I'm seeing it. I'm not seeing it only from the point of compromise. If you could make such an error, and if the error could pass through 1, 2, 3 persons, then there's a serious problem.
Now, which means everyone,
even if it was an error.
Now, which means everyone must receive some form of that punishment.
Why not, if not?
Including Mr. President and the Council of State, because he went through them too.
No. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. When people work for you.
Listen, let's look at it this way.
Right.
When people work for you.
Yes.
Right?
And you're supposed to rely on their judgment.
No. That you give people work to do doesn't mean you shouldn't supervise them.
Agreed, yeah.
President Obasanjo told us, has assembled his special advisors and ministers. Their duty is to advise him. It's his duty to choose what to take or what not to take. So, no matter irrespective of what you've been advised or presented to you to handle, you know what you want to achieve. The buck stops on your table.
Yeah, true.
Okay, so if there are layers, it means at each and every level
we'll get
that has to do with that. Exactly.
Right.
So that is why I like the boldness to say, okay, we have seen where, even if they didn't err, but because of perception, if for nothing, because in their own sight, in their own eyes, everything can be justified. Do you understand what I'm saying? Especially when you start to look at the issue of the reformative tendencies of our correctional services and all of that, and they plea, they will tell you, okay, if somebody has shown enough remorse, which you can't gauge, there's no gauge for you.
So that's a very...
It means that there's a great level of exercise of discretion. So you can't begin to elevate that seeming failure based on your own perception to now say, okay, let's get these people punished. I'm not saying that they should go scot-free. Right. I'm saying this, that whatever we say from here now will be an assumption. They know what has happened. So all we can call is for them to look into it, investigate what transpired. If there's actually an infraction, then they should take it off from there. But for us to sit down and say, because there's this reversal, which means that
it establishes the fact that
no, it doesn't.
No. I mean, but does it establish the fact that there was error?
Well, you may call it error, you may call it oversight, you may call it negligence, you may call it complacency.
Which of these should be excused?
No. See, get the point I'm making here. I'm not saying that people should just go scot-free. By the way, if this is an advanced system,
some people would have resigned
on their own.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So the point I'm just trying to make, when you talk about punishment, it means there's a commission of a crime.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's not the aspect.
Offense, because when you are talking with a lawyer, you need to be careful. I'm not saying crime.
So, administratively, there's bound to be, it could come in form of query. They wouldn't tell you.
Okay.
It will come in form of warning. They wouldn't tell you. But for there to be a removal and transfer, for me, that's a serious indictment on the way
on whoever was in.
Exactly. Right. So, presidency, I should believe, know what they are doing, and should do it that all eyes will see that justice.
Like you people say, justice is seen to be done.
Exactly. And then to also let others know that eyes are watching.
Correct. I'm sure that my audience is very interested in all of that we've been talking about, both in the first segment and this segment, and so definitely it must be the network that is playing games on us. Else we would have had quite a number of calls by now. Please keep trying. We have a few more minutes before the program is over. Who knows, you might just be the lucky one. The number remains 080-299-38365. Please do call in and let's have your own perspective. It's very important so we can all build the nation of our dream. Now, so you and I think that's a solid point too, the fact that removing that responsibility from a particular place and taking it to another place is a huge indictment. But I think that something much more than that is being expected in many quarters in Nigeria. But like you said, we can't jump to any conclusions. We can't assume anything.
Exactly.
Yeah. And okay. So now, let's talk about one or two of those cases. One particularly, because I'm sure that one was top of the list, top that really riled millions of Nigerians. And that has to do with the Mariam Sanda case that was sentenced, was on death row, but suddenly she was about to be asked to go home and maybe seen no more. but then that has been changed now to 12 years.
Exactly.
And out of the 12 years, she's already done 6. So, net effect, she has 6 years to go. Does that look like justice to the dead husband or to the family of the dead husband? Does that smell justice?
Well, first and foremost, I think we need to establish the premise upon which the issue at hand is the way and manner that we got to where we are. First and foremost, upon conviction, that is justice. Number 2, crime is against the state, not necessarily the individual.
Yeah, because
Number 3,
I'm not a lawyer, but let's take that up a little.
Yeah.
It's against the state.
Yes.
But in the process of making it against the state, the interest of concerned individuals has been taken.
I told you that, of course, it's a 3-way traffic.
Aha.
Okay. Now, but look at it. Who is qualified to be granted pardon? A convict.
A convict, yes.
Is Sandra a convict?
Yes.
Does she qualify to be granted pardon?
I seem to be under interrogation right now.
No. See, I'm asking. I just want us to look at it this way. Without being unnecessarily emotional or sentimental.
No, we don't have to be, yeah.
So, this is Mr. President's discretion. Prerogative of mercy. Right?
Yeah.
And if there was before now, there was already plans to sign her release warrant.
Entirely, I mean,
freely. I mean, someone say no. I think we can backtrack, so we can convert this to a term of imprisonment. I think that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Mind you, that the person we are talking about has little children, which also belongs to the same man that was killed. That's, you know, the late husband. It's still the late husband's children, and they also need to be taken care of. So the interest of those children, justice for those children, also should be of utmost importance and paramount to anybody. So if the father is gone, mother is gone, what is the justice for those children? I'm not advocating for her. I'm not in their matter.
Yes.
I want us to know that Mr. President, even as it were before, has the right to say, you go.
Yeah. All right. Two issues quickly from what you have said.
Yes.
Should discretion promote decadence? I don't know whether that's the word. But I'm sure that you understand what I mean.
Yes, I do.
Should discretion, should prerogative of mercy promote crime? I think that's the way I want to.
Yes,
that's one, so that I don't forget.
Okay.
And 2, now when we talk about, the father is involved, and now the mother is involved, the children will be without their parents. People are saying, and I tend to also see what they're saying, that when it happens on the other side, nobody takes a look at this, at that angle. And what do I mean by that? If it were, you're laughing, yes. If it were a woman that killed if it were a man that killed the wife, most likely that sentiment won't come into play. So why would it come into play now? I think there are two issues quickly.
Listen, let me take your first question.
First one, yes.
Whether discretion should promote criminality.
Yes.
That means you are challenging the entire principle of prerogative of mercy.
Yeah, I'm saying.
Hold on.
Maybe I should. I wanted to quickly check more.
There's no saint that can be granted pardon. He must be a criminal, and all crimes are equal. A criminal is a criminal.
Right. A convict is a convict.
A convict is a convict.
Right.
So I want us to establish that fact.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
Now, let's go to the second stage, which is if it were the other way around. that is being unnecessarily sentimental. Why do I say this?
No, the sentiment is starting from...
Hold on, sir.
Right.
Hold on. Who says that even in this her case, if it's allowed and it travels all the way to Supreme Court, that she may not also have been discharged and acquitted? Is it cast on stone? So let's not pick a single case and not begin to elevate it far and above others. She's not the only person on death row.
Very good.
But if she has found favor in the sight of the authorities to say, oh, this person deserves to be let off the hook at this point, mind you, not clearing her from the fence.
I mean, what do you mean by that?
She's still an ex-convict.
No, once the pardon comes, please, you're the lawyer here. Let me understand.
Her sentence was reduced.
Okay. She's no longer pardoned, right? That's
reduced
true.
sentence.
That's true. Yeah, that's okay.
So she's serving out
her
term will be reduced. So I don't see why it should become a test case for whether it's the other way around.
Let's proceed a little. Let's proceed a little. We still have a few more minutes. Please do call in. I'm sure. I know some very faithful, committed Kaftan people are trying to call. I'm sure about this, but there's a challenge network-wise. Now we also have. Maybe this is going to be a little bit more futuristic because I think the judgment just came recently. What's the name of this Igbo woman musician who died from Osinachi?
Yes.
And the husband.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And I think the matter was concluded last year or so.
Go ahead.
Now, I'm saying we probably would need to. These are recent, fairly recent matters together.
Yes.
So we can't rush now. We need to. That's why I said maybe this is a little bit futuristic. We need to look at how that flows because you see, some discussions are. I mean, they are open. They are open for a very long time. We will need to check. Have we had such cases where, for example? Have we had such cases? You are a lawyer. Have we had such cases where, for example, the man kills the wife, and when the matter is concluded, the man is found guilty, is sentenced to death, and on the basis of the feeling that the children would lose both parents.
Sorry, please. This extension should not come up. Why do I say so?
No, but that's what we're talking about.
No, that's not it. First and foremost,
I said, what happens if it happens on the other side?
Hold on, sir.
Yes.
The point is that for one to benefit from this, the attitude, the conduct
of the person
will have to come to play. It's not an automatic thing that somebody was picked on the basis of the action that brought the person in. Please. Now,
how do you also said ahead of time that is difficult to gauge.
No,
it's the same thing we're talking about repentant terrorists.
No,
it's about the same thing.
Let's properly situate this within their context, please.
All right, okay.
Who says that if, according to you, Osinachi's husband shows some level of remorse and be of good conduct in prison, or maybe on the basis of age, that he will not be a recipient or beneficiary of pardon tomorrow? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. No, I said that is still in the. That's what I'm telling you. What you're bringing is, can anybody now begin to consider the interest of the children? That's why I say let's properly situate these things. No two cases are the same. We can't be emotional about these things. If it's this woman's turn today, nobody knows whose turn it will be tomorrow. Okay. So we don't want us to begin to look at it on the basis of because of the offense the person committed. What matters is that the person was convicted, irrespective of the offense. The outcry came because of the number of people that were granted this, and then based on the society today, for you to release that number of people
who had such
those kind of issues. That was the issue. Not that what Mr. President did was something he was not supposed to do or have done. And that is what the review
Okay. I think that we need to take a look at this. Yes. Luckily, we still have a few more minutes. Now, is it because it's only I don't know. It's only God, I think, who has. Because this is like playing the role of God, right?
That is what it is.
This is like playing the role of God.
Yes.
But if a human is involved, shouldn't there be a scope? Shouldn't there be a scope? Shouldn't there be a scope within which you can operate?
Yes, there is a scope in this case now.
There is a scope in this case.
Yes. And that is what I've mentioned to you. One, you look at the conduct of the convict. Has he shown some level of remorse?
Who determines that?
It is the committee. That's why you have correctional service, you have the attorney general, you have a whole lot, even number of letters.
You agree with me that is subjective?
No, that's what I'm telling you.
Is this subjective?
Listen now. Now, first and foremost, if you are listening to the attorney general, he said they've reviewed the processes and procedure. And that is what they now used to. Now, little down days they feel are not qualified. So there's some level of qualification. And what it is, there's a guideline. What are the things you look at? Okay, maybe if somebody that is convicted and sentenced to life imprisonment, and the man is about 70, 80 years in prison, and then I say, okay, no, having served all this time and at this point, it's not good that this man dies here. Let's get him out. If this person was convicted and he or she is serving out the term, and they now notice that the person has shown genuine change, okay, and then I say, oh, this is a good example to this. Now that we are no longer Nigerian prison, this is correctional service, there's some level of change in this person, so it can become a change agent. So let's get this person out, which also positively impacts on all others that we are with the person. Number three, somebody who has, acquired some skill and education, who can still be meaningful to the society. So they have set up each of these criteria to say, if these people can meet up to XYZ, that is the first set. So they get them. Now, further step is XYZ, which is what they are doing now. At the end of the day, the only person that is his or her discretion is Mr. President, if he approves of what is presented before him. Mind you, the first time we discussed, we said either he was not properly briefed, or that the Council of State were not properly briefed for this to have gone like this, even from the number.
Even from the number.
So now you have seen the they have done the right thing, and that's why I said we shouldn't still be pushing as if we are not to determine how they do what the law has asked them to do. We are happy with what has happened now, the way our manner is done, both in terms of number and those that were dropped, and even this Sanders case that was converted to, term of imprisonment. So I think we can leave it for that. When we talk about legal issues, you don't begin to conjecture things. You don't begin to assume. So we treat them based on their individual facts.
I'm sure that most of our discussion has not been based on conjecture. It's been based on reality, what has happened.
Reality.
Now, one last question.
Yes,
because you just mentioned the three-way thing that Oputa said.
Yes.
That it should be justice for the victim, justice for the accused, and the state. All right.
Yes.
Do you think, and I will leave it there after this.
Yes.
I just hope that the remaining few minutes I can get a call or two. Do you think this will be justice for the what's his name? Biliamin, I think Biliamin Bello, right? Yeah, Biliamin Bello family.
I repeat myself. Justice for him was done at the point of convicting Sander. What is happening now has gone beyond what we are looking at. Mercy has stepped in, which is the discretion of Mr. President. So justice for me is not only when the woman is killed. What if she was just not
necessarily killed?
No, that's what I'm telling you. So justice for him is upon the pronouncement of guilt on the woman and sent to prison. So it's justice for him too. To my mind. That's what I think. That's my opinion.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying?
And of course, you can't express another person's
Yeah, that's my opinion.
That's your opinion.
So except you want to tell Mr. President, look, this kind of people, you cannot grant them pardon.
Who are you?
So who are you? Who are you?
All right, so
Yes, please.
long and short is that the president has done well,
That's
right?
it.
And at least, if not any other thing, the fact that he listened
That is my own.
and had to do some reversal. I mean, it's commendable.
It's quite commendable.
It's commendable.
Yes, quite
There's no doubt
commendable.
about it.
Yes.
And I do hope that everybody feels some sense of justice from this.
The last time we saw something like that was when Jonathan increased fuel.
And he reversed it.
And he reversed it.
Yes.
Since that, I've not seen any other reversal of any government policy. So
They will go ahead and they go ahead.
So if Mr. President has started from this one, I pray that he extends to other things that will make the life of Nigerians more meaningful.
Like,
Every other and any other aspect that will improve our the lifestyle of.
all right. So I think that we can just call it a day here. I must say thank you very much, Barrister Kasmir Igwe. Thank you so much. In the last 1 year, you've been a major resource person here. A resource person, not just, because
Always my pleasure, sir.
the depth, the clarity of your thoughts, the articulateness. Thank you very much. And we do hope that we can always have you. And I want to say thank you also to Peter Ode, who left, having concluded the first segment. A whole lot of information came to you concerning how to conduct yourself on the cyberspace. We were talking about the awareness for the Cyberspace Awareness Month, which is October, and he took us into a whole lot. If you missed this, you missed a whole lot. And he talked about how bullying could lead you to, if convicted with the new legislation, a fine of about 25 million naira and maybe 10 years in prison. So don't joke, don't play. Like one popular person will say, don't play. All right, so I want to say thank you to millions of viewers from around the world, and also say thank you to my production team, Divine, Emmanuel, Paul, every one of you. Thank you so very much. My name is Dayo Omogun. It's bye for now, but please don't forget to join me on Matters Rising from 8 to 9 this evening. We will be trashing some other topics again at that time. Thank you so much. It's bye for now. Bye-bye.